had a good weekend, and we'll be off and running. So as folks continue to log on, again, we'll get started. Tonight we've got rules for discussion. We've got rules 4 and 7. 4 with Chip Quay. Excuse me. Yeah, 4 with Chip Quay and 7 with Billy Beck. And I'll mention now for tomorrow we have rules 8 and 9. 8 with Bobby Barrow and rule 9 Meadows. Next week we'll go back live in person at Trino, where we'll finish our rule information with rule 6 and 10, and we'll also on Tuesday the 19th have our Q&A hosted by Stephen Clayton. He's got 2 or 3 coaches coming. I don't think we'll be able to announce those coaches sometime next week beforehand. Let everybody know who's coming. So just something to make a note
I can
of.
go ahead and announce the coaches now if you want me to.
Those housekeeping things, I might mention them again at the end of.
So the coaches for the panel are going to
everything, and you'll get a note. Again, for the following week, for next week. And you go right ahead.
So our coaches for the coaches panel are going to be So our coaches for the coach, I can hear you. I think my internet's a little slow tonight. So the coaches for the coaches panel are going to be Coach Mike Twitchell from West Craven, Coach Bobby Griffin from Pamlico, and Coach Robbie Dunn from North Lenoir. We have 1 veteran coach and 2 coaches that have been longtime assistants at.
Slow down a little bit.
So our coaches for the coaches panel are going to be Coach Mike Twitchell from West Craven, Coach Bobby Griffin from Pamlico, and Coach Robbie Dunn from North Lenoir.
Very good. Okay. Again, we'll remind everybody of that prior to with an email, as we normally do our email reminders, it'll include that information as well. So thank you, Steve, for that, and we look forward to that Q&A. It should be interesting. Should be very interesting. So, all right. So let's
All right. Looks like Thurman had a bad connection or something. Warren, you want me to take the lead, or you want to take the lead until Thurman gets back on?
Let Chip take the lead. This is class. Go for it.
All right.
Get started.
Somebody.
Okay. We'll go ahead and kick off with Rule 4 then. So Rule 4, there's not a whole lot, not a very long rule, is the way I should word this. I'm not necessarily going to read the book to you because we all have our own book we can read. But what we need to know is we start the game with a kickoff after a goal or a try in the second half, right? A free kick, which is a free kick is any player which puts the ball in play to start a free kick free kick down. Sorry. It's the definition of free kick. Can also start a down after a safety replay of a kick or a fair catch replay. So basically, we're going to start a down with either we're going to kick the ball or we're going to snap the ball. That's a short version of it. And most of the time, we're starting with the snap. We'll always start between the hash marks, either the left of it, the right of it, or the center of it. Sometimes the player gets to pick where we're going to start. Other than that, we're always going to go by where the ball was dead at. If it was dead on the left side of the hash, we'll go to the left side of the hash. Dead on the right side, we'll go to the right side. If it's in between the hashes, we're going to put the ball where it went dead at. Does that make sense to everybody? The ball is always dead until it becomes alive. I think we've said that just about every single clinic so far. So the important part is if it's dead, let's keep it dead until it becomes alive, and let's officiate anything that happens has a dead ball while the ball's still dead. What makes the ball become dead? The ball kills itself, or we blow the whistle, right? So runner goes out of bounds. Runner touches the ground. His hand doesn't count, but he has to actually go down to the ground. Forward progress is stopped. This one we struggle with, I think. We talked about it last session. So let's try and get the forward progress thing right. It's hard to always say when forward progress is stopped. If you blow it too soon, you can screw it up. You blow it too late, somebody can get hurt. Make sure we see the ball and know that the ball has stopped moving forward. Let's see. The ball goes out of bounds. A pass is incomplete or caught simultaneously. When a kick crosses goal line, a failed scoring attempt when it's on the ground and no other player is attempting to gain possession. After a kick is recovered with a fair catch signal, when the helmet comes off a runner or a limb comes off, or the worst case scenario, the inadvertent whistle. Those are all the things that make the ball become dead. So here's a question. Field goal attempt. Holder has his knee on the ground, receives a snap without standing up, passes the ball for it to be run in. Is this legal? Does anybody know? Mike's shaking his head no. Why?
Because when he's down, he's not bobbled or anything. He's down on his knee. When he gains possession of it, he's down.
That's mostly right. He can receive this ball, but he has to stand up to pass the ball. He cannot pass the ball while his knee is still on the ground. Is that right, Thurman? You got to unmute the mic, Thurman.
You're right, Chip.
Yeah, you can start with your knee down. Go up to now. Are you talking about on a scrimmage kick? Is that what we're talking about?
I'm actually talking about like on a field goal attempt.
Yep. Scrimmage kick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a scrimmage kick. Yeah. So you can have your knee down, go get off your knee for a high snap and go back, but you can't pass it from that position at that point. You can still kick it, but you can't pass it.
Correct.
Just remember what the purpose of the holder is. Knee on the ground makes him a holder. So while he's a holder, all he can do is put the ball on the ground for it to be kicked. Anything that else he does from that spot causes the ball to become dead.
All right. The next part of this of Rule 4 is talking about spots. So loose ball, out of bounds spots, where the ball goes, where the same. Hold on, I'm reading this incorrect. I'm sorry. Let me start over. All right. So the runner goes out of bounds. The spot is the ball, not the feet. Again, we just talked about this last week. We need to make sure we know where the ball is, not the player's feet when they go out of bounds, so that we can spot it on the proper yard line. And again, we're going to move it to the hash marks. And then let's see. When can the offense pick where to put the ball? There's 7 ways that they're allowed to pick where the ball goes. Does anybody know? All right, so they get to pick which side of the hash that they want it on a try, on a kickoff, after a safety, a fair catch, awarded fair catch, touchback, and the start of each series in overtime. That's the only time that the players are allowed to pick where they want to put the ball inside the hash marks. That's pretty much Rule 4 in a nutshell. That's pretty much all I got for Rule 4.
Can I say something on placing the ball where if a runner goes out of bounds, he stretch out the ball? A lot of times we tend to go where his feet is, but actually it's where the ball is extended. This is a game of inches. So if you get it back at the feet, and they may just be 6 inches from the first down or whatnot, and he extended that ball, you really got to pay attention, because that can determine whether a first down may be a change of the game.
Yeah, we covered that last week, Mike, pretty extensively on the field. Actually, we did. We had the opportunity to do that on the field. So good follow up with that point of emphasis. But that's as you indicated, that is critical. It's very critical. Anything else, Chip?
No, that's pretty much all I got. I mean, it's like I said, it's a very short rule. Other than just reading you the rule book, that's all I got.
No, I don't think we want that. Does anybody have any questions? Just in general, not necessarily for Chip, but any questions or comments about Rule 4, about ball in play, about putting the ball in play? Okay. All right. So
I got one.
Go ahead, Mike.
On the kickoff, or primarily on the kickoff, when they kick it in the end zone and then they bring the ball out, and you ask, who do you ask whether you want the ball at, the coach or the quarterback?
If it's mine to answer,
I asked the quarterback. I asked the center or the quarterback. Usually the Q.
That's why I didn't know. I mean, I always ask the quarterback as well, but I'll ask the coach, where do you want the ball at? And then they'll say.
Wayne should be asking the coach and then relaying the information through the radio.
Yeah, correct. That's right.
Last time we don't radio.
Ask the captain as you're coming out. We've already discussed who the captains are. We have half the guys that don't want to use radios. So again, before you put the ball down, umpires, ask, where do you want the ball at? And then if they don't reply to it, put the ball in the center of the field.
So
Okay.
the proper answer for the question, though, is it doesn't say who we have to ask. It just says A is allowed to pick. But I agree with what everybody said, that, you ask the captain.
The point is, who are we supposed to talk to, though? By rule, we talk to coaches and captains. Okay, so again, if you want, again, ask the captain where do you want the ball. If you're on the sideline coming down, ask the coach coming down to relay it on the radio. But again, there's a whole lot of guys that don't want to use radios and don't want to turn the damn things on. So again, ask the captain. That's what he was designated for.
Hey, hello?
Yeah, TC.
The only thing I was gonna ask, and if we seem to have,
Yep, go ahead.
only thing I'm gonna ask is if we seem to have the same problem about the mics, instead of getting a little bit kinky about it, is that something we need to talk about later and come to it to one degree so everybody can be talking about the same thing? Because every year we go through the same thing.
What are you referring to?
I'm referring to the fact that it
You
seems
talking
like
about the rule? You're talking about the spotting of the ball?
it just seems like we have a problem when it comes around as far as with the microphones, who's supposed to use them, when we are, and different things like that. All I'm saying is that if we're going to use it, that everybody should be doing it at the same time. Everybody should be using the same equipment all the time, every year. That's all I'm saying.
Are you talking about the radios on the field?
Yes, sir. The radio's on the field, because it seemed like somebody said
The radios on the field?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can only speak from my experience.
Okay.
My experience is that if we come equipped with radios, everybody uses the radio. So I haven't had any issues with anybody not using the radio, unless they had a malfunction or something. I didn't have anybody who was adamantly opposed to using the radio.
Okay.
Everybody uses the radio. If you have it. And the idea is you let your crew know days prior to, we're going to have radios. We're going to use radios.
That's cool.
But you can get to the site.
Okay.
And due to inclement weather,
Mm-hmm.
maybe decide we're not going to use the radios because of inclement weather. So you got to kind of play that by ear as well. I think the main thing is just to be prepared. You should always assume that you're gonna be using your radio on that Thursday night or that Friday night. You should assume that and that should be just another piece of your equipment. Just like your flag,
I agree with that.
Your whistle, your hat, or anything else. You should have your radio packed and ready to go prior to.
Roger that. Yep.
All right, Pat Dawson's got a question.
But
I'm just going to.
There are some I would say probably referees who don't want to use the radio, and it would tell their crew that they use the radio. All right, go ahead.
No, I was just going to relate that, yes, I agree with what Thurman said. This was discussed at the board meeting with some.
Go ahead with your question.
Do you guys hear me?
Yes.
He must have changed his mind.
I was going to say I agree with what you were saying, Thurman. I was just going to relate that this was discussed at the board meeting. As we know, some R's like to use them, some absolutely do not.
Yep.
Jimmy's position is that it is up to the individual crew to use them or not. We are encouraged to use them, and most members in attendance felt that it was a good idea. But again, the position of Mr. Rouse is that it's optional.
Okay.
But I agree with you, Thurman, with the benefits of using them.
And the bottom line again, regardless whether you use radios or not, who's bringing the ball in? There's from that sideline. Ask the coach what he wants in that situation and relay it in, whether it's by the radio or whatever the case happens to be. But if we're the umpire and referee getting ready to put the ball down and we don't know, we're asking the captain. We're not going to wait to find out the decision. So again, you talk about it in pregame, but again, the captain's allowed to select where he wants the ball at. That is in the book. So again, work the sidelines, come down as you're bringing the ball in and relaying it in where they want the ball at. And let's go.
Okay. Anything else on Rule 4? I think we trampled that up pretty good. So let's move on to Rule 7. Billy Beck, are you there?
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Rule 7.
Billy?
You got me, Thurman?
Wake up, Billy.
I'm here. I'm speaking.
Be there.
Yep. Go right ahead, buddy.
Rule 7. Snapping, handling, and passing the
There
ball.
you are. Okay.
All right, guys.
You're on. You're on. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Billy.
We're good. All right. So we all know that the snapper is the only one that can have any body part in the neutral zone, right? But it's only his hands. His hands can be on the ball, but not further than the ball. His feet's got to be behind the neutral zone. The snapper, he can pick the ball up and he can rotate it, but he can't flip it and he can't move it forward. It's got to stay at the same point. Once he puts his hands on the ball, he can't take his hands off the ball. Remember, anytime we have an illegal snap or a snap infraction, the ball's dead. That's the same as false start, encroachment. When we have stuff like that, the ball's dead, it stays dead. We've hit that point many times. We'll keep the ball alive when it's alive and dead when it's dead. Article 5 and Article 6 here. This caused quite a discussion the other day when we were in clinic, so I want to kind of read it all pretty good, and then I found a couple of case book situations. So Article 5 on this: no player other than a snapper shall encroach on the neutral zone after the ball is ready for play by touching the ball or an opponent or being in the neutral zone with defensive signals. Anytime we have that, we're saying encroachment. The very next article says, following the ready for play and after the snapper has placed his hand on the ball, any player breaks the plane of the neutral zone, defensive player makes contact with the ball prior to the end of the snap, or makes contact with the hands, arm of the snapper, we have encroachment. So there's a little discussion about when we should or shouldn't have encroachment, whether it's for the ready to play or when the center actually puts his hand on the ball. I went to the case book 715 and following the ready for play signal, but before A has taken any position on the line of scrimmage, B1 is either in or behind the neutral zone facing his teammates while giving defensive signals. This, by the case book, is encroachment. But this is where we use philosophy of the rules. We're going to tell these guys to get back. We don't want to throw that flag and kill it. We got a chance to get them where they're supposed to be. Let's get the players where they're supposed to be. And if they don't listen to you, then you kill it, and we'll get the 5 yards. But I know that was quite a bit of a conversation we had about 2 weeks ago. So I wanted to go over that. So once the ball's ready for play and the snap begins, and before the snap begins, I'm talking false starts. Can't have anything that's going to try to cross B to jump. Anything that's trying to get them to jump, that's a false start. Something we see quite a bit. Some of it gets called, some of it don't. The offensive lineman, if he puts his hand down, he can't pick his hand back up. Once he picks his hand up, that's a false start. We need to be getting those. You'll have a lot of coaches in your ear yelling, he picked his hand up. And the last one here on the defense. Defense can't use any discerning acts or words trying to get the offense to jump off sides. Can't have them trying to imitate the snap count or anything like that there. You guys got any questions on that before we move on? All right. This next one They kind of made a big issue of it, I don't know, a year or two ago.
Say that one more time, Billy.
I was asking anybody had any questions before we move to the next section.
Yeah, one is if they imitate or emulate a snap, is that a 5 or 15-yard penalty?
That's a 5-yard penalty.
Okay. Okay.
So the next point I really want to make, the state kind of came down, I don't know, about 2 years ago, I remember, was being in between the 9-yard marks. When you go in for a huddle, player coming off the sidelines, every player has to be momentarily inside the 9-yard mark before he comes back out. That's to keep anybody from just staying on the sideline, trying to get basically a free player, you know, trying not to be noticed out there. Locking legs. Only the center and the guards can lock their legs. Can't have a guard and a tackle lock legs. Only the center and guards. Remember, only the QB can break the vertical plane at the waistline. He's got to be under center and ready to receive the snap. But the quarterback doesn't have to actually receive the snap. He's just got to be ready for it. I've never seen them hike the ball through the quarterback's legs, but I guess it's possible. You guys seen that before, Thurman?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Snap it through the quarterback's legs to the back and let them run.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This next information is the numberings. Remember, we got to have at least 5 players on the line, and they have to be numbered 50 to 79. There is a couple of exceptions with this, and that's when they go to a scrimmage kick or for a point try. They can have the snapper, the long snapper, can have a different number. We got players of the same team can't have the same number at the same time. We can't have 2 number 4s on offense. We can have a 4 on offense. We're going to have a 4 on defense. But you can't have 2 4s on the field at the same time. Go ahead, Thurman.
Billy, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Billy?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me, Billy?
I got you.
What do we do with the number 0 now that it's a legal
I can
number?
hear you.
What do we?
The number 0 falls in with an eligible
What do we
number.
do with the number 0 now that it's a legal number?
He has a mean delay on his computer, so that's why it's happening like
what
that.
do you mean eligible?
It's
Eligible where?
0 is an eligible number. It's anywhere on the line. You still have to have 50 to 79 on the line. 0 would be eligible to catch a pass, be a back. But 0 can't be on the line of scrimmage. Now it's counted as the 5 offensive linemen. You there, Thurman?
That's what I was getting at.
Gotcha. All right. So we got that. Come out of a huddle. Players shift. Remember, everybody's got to come to an absolute stop. They got to be stopped for at least a second. Only one player can be moving at the time of the snap, and he cannot be moving forward. If he's moving forward at the time of the snap, we got an illegal shift.
All right, Woody's got a question real quick.
Go ahead, Woody.
I'm trying to remember. I know I had in a game a couple years ago. What is the number interception?
Number exception, that's for the long snapper, basically. So you can have somebody come in, let's say, with a number 2-1 to be your long snapper. Go ahead, Warren.
There'd be a whole lot of other
I
stuff.
think he's
All you're worried about, look at the rule book and look at the numbering exceptions. You go, what's going on? You got to have 5 players, 50 through 79, unless they're in a scrimmage kick formation. And depending on what scrimmage kick formation they're in, allows you to have more than one number replacing those guys. But remember, if they're replacing a 50 through 79 number, they're now what? They're locked in and not eligible by numbering. They're ineligible because of positioning. But again, look at that section of the book, look at the case book plays. A lot of stuff in there. And it's been that way for quite a few years.
All right. So going on. Remember, any A player on the line of scrimmage may not advance a playing loose ball in the vicinity of the snapper. So what that's doing is basically taking the old fumble Rooski play completely out the ball game. Center can't put the ball directly on the ground and have the guard or tackle come pick it up. All right. Handing the ball. So we know the ball can be handed backwards at any time. It can only be handed forward behind the line of scrimmage. And you're going to see that all the time. That's from the quarterbacks handing the ball to the running back and running off. What we can't have is the running back 10 yards downfield about to be tackled and hand the ball forward to the receiver that's getting ready to pass him. He can hand it backwards, but he can't hand it forward. The other thing, an offensive lineman. Can the offensive lineman take a handoff? The answer to that is yes, as long as he turns and faces his own goal line before taking the handoff. He can turn around, run to the quarterback, be a yard off from the neutral zone, and take the handoff. You don't see that too often, but it's possible. Fumbles and backwards passes. Basically, you can have a backwards pass anytime, anywhere. Offense can do it. The defense gets the ball, they can do it. And you can have it as many times in one play as possible. Sometimes you'll get these desperate end of the game plays where you might see it 4 or 5 times. The ball belongs to the passing or fumbling team. If it goes out of bounds or it becomes dead, joint possession always goes to the team who had it originally. So if the offense had it, we got joint possession with offense and defense, the ball remains with the offense. The offense fumbles the ball out of bounds, it's going to stay out of bounds. Unless we fumbled the ball in the end zone. If we fumbled the ball in the end zone, depending on where we're at, we're either going to have a touchback or a safety. Any questions moving forward? Awesome. Next one. I want to hit up a little bit because there's a new rule here with the forward pass classification. All right. First thing we're going to know is the quarterback has to have both feet behind the line of scrimmage when he throws the ball to have a legal forward pass. It's not where the ball is, it's where his feet are. So this is a new rule that we have this year. It's going to be fun. The wings, you're definitely going to have to know where the ball gets to. The quarterback can now throw the ball away inside the pocket. We got the NFL rule in high school. And basically, I'm going to read it word for word since it is new. It is legal for a player positioned directly behind a snapper to conserve time by intentionally throwing the ball forward to the ground immediately after the snap that has neither been muffed nor touched the ground. All right, so that was a new rule from last year. New in place this year, it's legal for the player to conserve yardage by intentionally throwing an incomplete forward pass as long as the passer is not behind the lateral boundary of the free blocking zone established at the snap, and the pass reaches the neutral zone, including the extension beyond the sideline. So that wings, you've got to know where that ball lands. You got to make sure it is and made it past the neutral zone, or at least the line of scrimmage. That way the white hat knows for sure whether he has a legal incomplete pass or if he has intentional grounding. Now, Thurman, on this, is the only way you're going to know the pocket as far as him being outside the tackle box. That is definitely going to have to be on the white hat, and the wings are really going to have to be communicating whether that ball got past the line of scrimmage or not. Go ahead, Mike.
Rule of thumb seems. Mike got a question? Mike, you there?
Unmute your mic.
Can you hear me?
Gotcha.
Okay. So now you're saying as long as they're outside the pocket, they can throw the ball to the stand as long as it's forward, going towards the line of scrimmage. Or do we still have the catchable? Is it catchable when they just throw the ball away?
No. As long as it makes it back from what I'm reading on this new rule, as long as he is makes it to the line of scrimmage, we have an incomplete pass.
Okay. Okay. I think I understand what you're saying. So even though, as long as the ball is thrown forward, they can throw it to the stand.
Right. Yeah. It says the extension beyond the sideline.
Okay. That's what I wanted to.
But he has to be outside the pocket.
Correct. Inside the pocket, it's intentional grounding.
That would be correct.
Copy.
And the pocket, and the pocket is being looked at really as about three steps, 3 strides, left or right of the center. That's going to be outside the pocket. That seems to be the going rate, if you will. About three strides left or right puts the quarterback outside the pocket. Of course, the other part of that is that the ball's got to doesn't have to stay in bounds, but it's got to get at least back to the line of scrimmage, if I'm not mistaken.
Got it.
That video that Stephen sent out about that was very good to explain all of what has to happen for him to be able to ground the ball and it not be a foul.
Yep.
So I got one more question, and maybe y'all cover this. I missed the last 2 weeks, but I just want to be clear. I just want to be clear on from the shotgun. Can they still ground the ball, the quarterback?
As long as they don't muff it or drop it and pick it up and then do it, then it's a foul.
Gotcha.
It's got to be clean.
Copy.
Hey, Billy.
Yeah.
What happens if the quarterback scrambles and gets outside of that tackle box, and then he scrambles back inside it and throws the ball away? Are the intentional grounding still on, or did it get taken off once he got outside the box?
The rule book's not clear on that, But philosophy of the rule, from what I can gather, is once you've gone outside the pocket, you're clear to go, and that's a scramble drill.
Thank you.
That's a great question, Shannon. It's a great question.
I thought it might come up. It hadn't been asked yet, so I thought it'd be good to get it out there.
But it is definitely not written in the rule book anywhere. So I would definitely, like I said, to me, that's just philosophy of the rule.
That is correct.
Anybody else on that before we move on? Like I said, it is new, so there's a lot of reading to be done and a lot of questions I'm sure everybody had. So
we've got some like Ken said.
All right, with that, we're gonna move right
video
along.
that was sent out. Be a good video again. That
And also,
and there's some.
If you just Google.
Go ahead, Bill.
Warren, you done?
No, I was going to say, if you Google National Federation football rule changes for 2022, there are 2 segments that have videos on all the rule changes, and they have a good, like I said, they have a good display of what to look for on this intentional grounding issue or not issue. So again, the stuff's out there. Look it up, guys.
All right, guys, moving on. Some nice little charts there in the rule book. I would suggest you guys make sure you read these really good for the legal forward pass, completed forward pass, incomplete forward pass. A few things I want to hit on. The penalty for illegal forward pass is accepted and measured from the spot of the forward pass. So he runs 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage and throws the ball. That's where we're making our measurement from. Or if we have a double pass, same thing. From the spot of the illegal pass is where we're going to make our measurement from. A forward pass, legal or illegal, can be advanced by A or B. All right, it's not a dead ball. We're going to let the play out, and then we'll assess the penalties afterwards. But we don't kill it. We let it play. Either side can move the ball, and then we'll figure out what needs to be done when the ball becomes dead. Pass eligibility rules apply only to a legal forward pass. Remember, the following are eligible pass receivers. You got to be eligible by number and position. All right, so anybody that's 0 from 49 or 80 to 99 is an eligible number. We go by position as far as the rest of it goes. You know, if you got 99, but he's covered up by a receiver on the line, he's no longer eligible. So we got to pay attention to the position and the numbers as far as pass eligibility.
And remember, you said 0 was also an eligible pass receiver.
That's correct. That's going to be a new one for everybody, that new number.
TC's got a question.
Go ahead, TC. TC, you there?
Hello?
Okay, he might just
Yeah.
be hitting buttons.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right. All A players become eligible once B touches a legal forward pass. So the defense tips it. Anybody can take it from there. Pass interference. Restrictions apply beyond the neutral zone and only if it's a legal forward pass. So remember, we cannot have pass interference if the pass is thrown before the neutral zone or behind the neutral zone. All right. If the wide receiver takes 3 steps back, catches the ball or goes to catch the ball and that cornerback's there to meet him, we got nothing. No pass interference if it's behind the neutral zone. Pass interference restrictions on a legal forward pass begin A, with the snap. As soon as that ball is snapped, A cannot interfere. And B, when the ball leaves the passer's hand.
Oh, I know why, because I hit the wrong button, I think.
All right. If we had unavoidable contact while the ball is in the air, do we have pass interference? Feet get tangled up, both players looking for the ball. We got nothing, right? We got a football play. Go ahead, Thurman.
Can you define unavoidable contact?
To me, unavoidable contact is both players' feet get tied together while running. Both players looking for the ball and bump into each other. To me, that's unavoidable.
Okay.
I mean, if the defender is trying to go over the top of the receiver to catch the ball, that's avoidable contact. To me, that's pass interference. You can't go over the top of the receiver to get the ball.
Well, by definition, pass interference is the intent to impede. That's the definition of pass interference. In any shape, form, or fashion. The intent. That word, intent's the critical word there. Intent to impede.
Go ahead, Mike.
So, I mean, I just got a question. I know the answer, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. So you have a screen play, bubble play, whatever you want to call it, to a running back that's behind the line of scrimmage, and the defender hits him before he catches the ball. What do you have?
Got an incomplete pass.
Correct. Okay. I just want to clear that up. So, because that happens a lot. At least I've seen it a lot. And coaches screaming for interference. It can't be interference because, like, as you stated, it's behind the line of scrimmage.
Go ahead, Warren.
Just make sure that the hit on that guy is legal. You know, you could have an illegal block on him that would make that play illegal, not pass interference. Again, if he takes him out below the waist before the ball gets there, can he block somebody below the waist? No. So again, you know, you can't have pass interference, but you could have a foul related on a personal foul or illegal block. So be careful of those type of things.
Any other questions, guys? Like I said, there's another chart here at the end for the legal forward pass interference. Read these charts. They got some good stuff. Go to your casebook. Casebook's a really good thing to get information from, especially if you question any rule. Other than that, that's what I got on Rule 7. I try to highlight what I thought was some pretty important parts. There's a lot here. So definitely go back, make sure you read it.
Very good. Yeah, Rule 7 is pretty comprehensive. And like you said, it's got a lot of stuff in it, and it shows up when the lights are on Thursdays and Friday nights. It really does. Shows up big time. So good job, Billy. Good job. Good stuff. We've had about 30 guys on the session tonight. That's really good. It's great attendance. Don't forget that tomorrow, Tuesday at 6:30 tomorrow, we'll have Bobby Burrow with Rule 8, Ricky Meadows with Rule 9. 8 is scoring plays, touchback and overtime. And with Bobby, and Ricky has conduct of players, Rule 9, 8, 9. Okay. Are there any questions of any kind relative to the rules that we covered tonight, that we discussed tonight, because it's always about a discussion. And debate is good. We can agree to disagree at various times. The whole idea is that we end up with something that's correct in our understanding and our facts. We want to be factual with a rule. Of course, you want to understand it, but you want to have the facts when you're out on the field. If you're not sure about a particular rule and you get cornered by a coach, I would suggest to you to say as little as possible. As little as possible. Okay. So it's just like, don't say I don't know. Don't say that. But just say as little as possible. Whether I get back to you, I'll catch up to you on the next play, I'll have an answer for you or something. Don't say I don't know.
What they silence cannot be misquoted.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
The other thing there, Thurman, the other thing there, if you're a little unsure of the rule, please make sure you're in the right position.
That's right. There you go.
That will help you more than anything. That's
exactly right. Your mechanics can bail you out. You may be as dumb as a stick on the rule, but if you're in proper position, you're probably going to get by. You're probably going to get by. Okay. It's like the thing about well, I think we didn't call it incidental contact, but that's kind of basically what it is when you let your feet get tangled up. 99 times out of 100, you got two guys running down the field and their feet get tangled up. You don't have anything. You don't have nothing. Okay. So to try to pick out a DPI or an OPI with feet getting tangled up, you're asking for trouble. So you want to kind of leave that alone, period. Okay. All right, gentlemen, great job. Good stuff. Great attendance. We may be able to introduce relative to the quarterback situation, intentional grounding, throwing the ball, using the pocket and all that. Got some huddle video that we may introduce tomorrow for a little while. We don't want to impose too much on the time of our presenters tomorrow, but if possible, Steve and I'll share that huddle video with you, and you can share it with the group tomorrow. If and when we have the time, we can just kind of plug that in just for a few minutes. There's some really good plays on the huddle video that I received a few days ago with the audit, with the commentary and everything on it. Okay, this is from one of the Western associations in the state. So we'll try to introduce some of that tomorrow. Anybody have anything else?
Thurman, has everybody received rule books this year?
Received rule books?
Yep.
Yes, I think they mail them out in batches based on when you register with the state. If you registered by a certain time, they send them out with one batch, and then they'll do another batch usually 2 or 3 weeks later.
I'll be patient. I haven't seen mine yet.
All right. But the other thing is you can go online if you had access last year to the rule books online through the app. You can go through there again. It's on there. All you got to do is click on it. Don't try to buy it. It's there. It's going to tell you that the other one expired. It's there. Me and Woody were using it today. Both the rule book and the case book for 2022.
All right, man. Appreciate everything. Hope to see everybody tomorrow afternoon, 6:30. Take care. Have a good night. Stephen, I'm going to send you that huddle.